Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om. Peace, peace, peace and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening class on the life and, as it happens, the Mahasamadhi, the passing away of the Holy Mother, Sri Sarada Devi. This is presented to us so beautifully in the book Sri Sarada Devi, Her Divine Play, prepared and published by Swami Chetanananda, who is the head minister and president of the Vedanta Society of St. Louis. He's written many of these books, and each of them is well worth your attention. If you look up his opus, you'll find that he has written many, many books. All of them, as I say, worth your attention. So with that, I will turn it over to our beloved reader, Haima, and she'll tell us where we are.
Good evening and namaste, everybody. We are on page 734, and I will start at Holy Mother Land. That will give a better continuation of where we left off.
Okay.
Brother Shankara, I have a little hoarse voice, but I can still read it.
As pleases yourself, dear.
Yes, I just got out of flu, so I prayed Mother that I really wanted to read this, and she gave me my voice today. Yesterday, I didn't even have any voice at all.
Oh, my. Yes, we all know how that is, yes.
You wanted me to read this. I want to read this so badly.
Okay.
Thank you, Brother Shankara.
Well, thank you, dear.
Holy Mother learned that her brother Barada was seriously ill with pneumonia. So she sent a postal money order for his treatment. He died on 20th June 1920. Before Holy Mother learned this, she said to her attendant, "Is Barada gone? I saw him standing near the railing looking at me." She asked Brahmachari Barada to send more money for her brother's treatment. Saradananda forbade him to send the money and also forbade him to tell Holy Mother of her brother's death. Observing Brother Barada's delay, the mother forcefully ordered him to send the money order that very day. Golapma then told the mother that her brother had passed away. She cried out and began shaking. Her attendants fanned her and rubbed her eyes and mouth with wet hands. Saradananda was very concerned. Yoginma consoled her, saying, "Mother, your temperature has been high for the last few days. So Sharat did not inform you. He was waiting to tell you when your temperature went down." Brahmachari Barada sent the 20 rupees to Kishori, Swami Parameshwarananda, for the Shraddha ceremony. The mother cried off and on a couple of days and asked for some more money to be sent for the Shraddha. These bereavements greatly affected Holy Mother's health. Her condition deteriorated rapidly, and her temperature rose to 102 degrees during the afternoons, causing a burning sensation and restlessness. She began to say, "Take me to the bank of the Ganges. I shall feel cool there." Accordingly, Sarada began to search for a suitable house near the Ganges in Pasipur or Dakshineshwar. Someone also suggested taking the mother to Varanasi. However, the doctors forbade them from moving her in her present condition. Her attendants then began to bring ice, cover it with a towel, and place her hands on it. This gave her a little relief. Next subheading is Sarju Bala's reminiscences.
Let's just pause just a moment and reflect on Holy Mother as a human being and how moved she was by the loss of her dear ones. And this had been true right along when she lost Swami Yogananda. She said, "Oh, who will care for me? Who will care for me?" And she missed him terribly. This was true of each of the losses of her dear ones. So we need never feel badly about our sense of loss and grief when we lose someone dear to us. This is part of our very natural human being, our being human. So, with that, any comments from your own wisdom or experience, or any concern or question that this raises for you? All right, dear, please read on.
Sarju Bala's reminiscences. Holy Mother was very fond of and free with Sarju Bala. She visited Holy Mother 5 times during her last illness, and she recorded these visits in her reminiscences. Here we reproduce some excerpts. 24th March 1920. Holy Mother was extremely unwell, having been in the grip of malarial fever for a long time. I prostrated myself before her, and she blessed me by placing her hand on my head. She asked me how I was. I offered her a little money for her expenses, and she accepted it. At the sight of her emaciated body, I lost all power of speech. I looked at her face wistfully and thought, alas, how pale and weak her body is. The mother was so weak that she felt it painful even to utter a word. I was seated on the floor. In the meantime, Ras Bihari Maharaj came up and asked me not to talk much with her. But the mother now and then asked me about various things. I gave her short replies. 30th March 1920. I went to pay my respects to Holy Mother after 5 or 6 days. She had had no fever for the previous 2 or 3 days, but she was much worried on account of Radhu and her incapacity to look after her little child. The mother lay down on her bed and asked me to rub her feet. While rubbing them, I asked her whether I could speak to her about something and if it would inconvenience her. The mother said, "No, not at all. Say what you want to." I told her about some experiences I had had. And at this, the mother remarked, "Ah, my daughter, Can one experience such bliss every day? Everything is real. Nothing is untrue. The master is all. He is Prakriti. He is Purusha. Through him, you will achieve everything.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Now,
Sure.
this is the mother speaking.
To Sarajabala.
Yes, but speaking the absolute, uttermost truth as it was understood by herself and Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna spoke of it as vijnana. There's jnana, the sense that all of Maya and all objects and thoughts are in an absolute sense false. Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother spoke of a state beyond this. And apparently Surabala had had some experiences that brought this to the mother's mind. So would you read that again, please, from from the experience I had had, and the
Okay.
mother remarked.
I told her about some experiences I had had. And at this, the mother remarked, "Ha, my daughter, can one experience such bliss every day? Everything is real. Nothing is untrue. The master is all. He is Prakriti. He is Purusha."
Now these are the two aspects. Prakriti and Maya are equivalent terms. They're not perfectly equivalent, but as Swami Prabhupada said, talking about the differences between them, he says it's making a distinction where there is no difference. Prakriti, Purusha. Purusha is Brahman or Nirguna Atman. Prakriti is Saguna Brahman, Shakti, Maya, or Saguna Atman. Both are equally true, the master said. Water still or water in waves, it is all water. So with that, any comments or questions from your own experience or any concern or question that this raises for you? All right, dear Haima, please read on.
Sure. The master is all. He is Prakriti. He is Purusha. Through him, you will achieve everything. I, that is Sarajabala, mother, one day while doing japa with great concentration, a long period of time passed quite unobserved. I therefore had to get up and attend to my household duties without carrying out the other items of spiritual practices that you had instructed me to do. Was it wrong on my part to have done so? Mother: no, no, there's nothing wrong in it. Sarajabala:
Now this business of a long time passed unobserved. She meant she was in a kind of samadhi. She was no longer having her normal awareness of her thoughts and her body consciousness. This is what she meant by, and the mother, of course, understood perfectly what she meant. This is what she meant, that a long time passed unobserved. There was nothing there to observe it. The mind is not attending to what happens is actually you sink below the level of your ordinary awareness into a kind of silence. And this is Savikalpa Samadhi, or perhaps even Nirvikalpa, though I don't think Surabala was talking about Nirvikalpa. But as Sri Ramakrishna said, there are thousands of different kinds of Samadhi. So, again, any comment or question from anyone? All right, dears, please, let's go ahead.
Sarazubala, someone told me that while meditating at dead of night, he hears a mystic sound. Generally, he experiences it as coming from the right side of the body. Sometimes, when the mind is working on a lower plane, it comes also from the left side. Mother, after thinking a while, indeed, the sound comes from the right side. Only when there is body consciousness does it come from the left side. Such things happen when the power of the Kundalini is awakened. The sound that comes from the right side is the real one. In time, the mind itself becomes the guru. To pray to God and meditate on God for even 2 minutes with full concentration is better than doing so for long hours without it. I'll read that again, Brother Shankara, if you want me to.
Yes, please.
Seems very profound. Sarazubala asked, someone told me that while meditating at dead of night, he hears a mystic sound. Generally, he experiences it as coming from the right side of the body. Sometimes, when the mind is working on a lower plane, it comes also from the left side. Mother, after thinking a while, indeed, the sound comes from the right side. Only when there is body consciousness does it come from the left side. Such things happen when the power of the Kundalini is awakened. The sound that comes from the right side is the real one. In time, the mind itself becomes the guru.
Let's just stop there.
Sure.
This is a truth that is told to us from the earliest of the Upanishads right through to Holy Mother's lips. You receive instruction from your guru or from books and videos and so on these days. You receive instruction from them. These are pointers in the right direction. These may be very profound spiritual practices like your initiation. You receive instructions that give you the keys to the treasure box of Ishvara, Ishwari. But this mind becoming the guru, this is what Sri Ramakrishna says, when the ego becomes mature or ripe, then there is no impediment to the knowledge arising spontaneously from within you. And this is what is meant by the mind becoming the guru. And it can happen very early on in your spiritual practice. You may receive some insights. It's when there is this period when you're below, have sunk below through your practice, this chatterbox of the mind. Then something else. There is, as Meister Eckhart says, the voice of God is silence. The language of God is silence. All else is a poor translation. And this is what's meant by the mind becoming the guru. You begin to hear this voice, but it is, of course, not spoken words. It's something else. But this is what the mother means by this. Any comments or questions from anyone? All right, dear, please go on.
To pray to God and meditate on God for even 2 minutes with full concentration is better than doing so for long hours without it. I did not feel inclined to question the mother on the significance of body consciousness, for the mother was not doing well. I was about to leave. Instantly, the mother raised her head from the pillow and said, well, my daughter, I have raised my head. She did so because it is not the custom for a devotee to bow down to one lying down. When I bowed down, she said, "Come again. Come a little earlier in the evening. Can't you finish your household duties a little earlier and come?" Then, uttering the name of Durga as a prayer for my safety, she bade me adieu.
Now, why did she utter the name of Durga? It is Durga's responsibility. Each of the goddesses and each of the gods has their own portfolio, as it were. One of Durga's is to protect us as we move from one place to another. And so the mother invoked Durga's name. You will hear the Swamis and others say Durga, Durga. And of course, that's one of the things that we do at the end of our sessions, is chant that Durga chant. And this is the reason. We move from one place to another, both psychically as well as physically. And so mentally, psychically, physically, all of this is under the protection of Sri Durga. So that's why the mother said that to her, uttering the name of Durga as a prayer for my safety. She bade me adieu. Adieu, for those of you who don't know, I mean, we know it means goodbye, but really means is it's French for be with God. Adieu. A, to, or with God. Dieu. Adieu. She bade me adieu. Okay, dear.
Even after I had come to the veranda, I heard her uttering the name of Durga in a compassionate tone. What unbounded love! So long as we were with her, we forgot all the sorrows and suffering of worldly life. Undated. The mother's illness showed no signs of improvement. Her body was getting weaker and weaker. I went to see her one afternoon.
You notice that she followed the mother's injunction to come finish her household duties and come a little earlier. So she went to see her one afternoon, not evening, but afternoon.
She was about to go for her evening wash. She asked me to help her get up. She said, "I am getting a fever very often, and the body has become very weak. She got up with great effort. Then she said to me, "Look, someone has kept a stick near the door." I had been thinking for a few days that if I could get a stick, then I could move myself a little with its support. Look, the master has just supplied this one for me. The mother showed the stick to me. Then she said with a smile, "I asked everyone who had left this stick here, but no one could tell me." Undated. Another day, I went and heard the mother's monastic disciples saying, "This time when the mother gets well, we won't allow anyone to get initiation from her." Mother, you have all this suffering because you are taking the effects of others' sins. At this, the mother said with a smile, "Why? Did the master come this time to eat only rasagollas?" That's a favorite sweet. Everyone was speechless. Mother, how wonderfully you expressed your compassion through these few words.
Yes. As she expressed her compassion and her willingness to take on any amount of suffering in order to relieve us of the burden of selfhood in the sense of small self, in order to set us free. This is the wonder of these incarnations, that they are capable of doing this. They are capable of taking our misguided behavior and its results, its karma, its resultant karma. They're capable of taking it on themselves and freeing us. This is what is said in the evening prayer to the Master by Swami Vivekananda. How great was thy sacrifice, freely choosing thy birth in this prison, our iron age, to unchain us and set us free. And of course, the mother was no different. It was just the Master left when he was 50, and the mother lived on till she was 67. But they were doing the exact same thing. And that's why she pointed to the Master. She always redirected your attention to the Master and away from her. Not always, but almost always. Any comments or questions from anyone? All right, dear.
14th April 1920. The evening Aratrika Vesper service in the shrine was over. The mother was feverish. Ras Bihari Maharaj was rubbing her hands and Brahmachari Barada her feet. They were taking her temperature and the mother was lying with her eyes closed. I stood by her side. Once the mother asked, "Who is there?" Ras Bihari Maharaj replied to her in a low voice, "Saraju is here." I heard that the temperature was 100.1 degrees. Sister Sudhira was giving a treat to the girls of Nivedita school, as it was the Bengali New Year's Day. Sarala, the disciple who was attending the mother, had gone to the school. The mother asked Brahmachari Barada to bring Sarala back, for she had to feed Radhu's child. It was not yet time to feed the child, but as he was crying, Radhu wanted to feed him just then. The mother tried to dissuade her. This only enraged Radhu, who began to abuse the mother. She said, "May you die, and I shall light your funeral pyre." We were deeply pained to hear this. The mother was so badly ill, and Radhu was abusing her in such a fashion at that time.
Now we must understand, Radhu was not sane.
Right.
She was not responsible for her actions in the way that an ordinary person would be responsible for them. So it's to be understood that Radhu, though she was behaving in this way, it was because of her mental illness. And the mother knew this. The mother knew it better than anyone. So please just go ahead, dear. We don't need to read that again.
Exactly. Radhu, however, went on shouting out many more abusive words. Such conduct on her part was seen quite frequently. The mother, who had unbounded patience, had put up with such behavior on all occasions. But this time, because of her protracted illness, she got annoyed and remarked, "You will realize the consequences of your words later. What a sad plight you will be in after my death. You will understand. I do not know how many kicks and thrashings with broomsticks are in store for you. Today is the first day of the year. I sincerely wish that you may die first, and then I shall follow you with a peaceful mind." At this, Radhu became still more irritated and abusive. After a while, Sarala arrived and fed the child. The experience of that day cast a gloom over my mind. The mother said to me, "Fan me, my child. Radhu's torment is burning my whole body." Then she asked me to rub her feet. Meanwhile, Rash Bihari Maharaj entered and began to drop the mosquito curtain. So I took leave of her, and the mother said by way of bidding farewell, "Come." This was the last command and last word I heard from her.
But,
During the
but please understand
Sure.
that it doesn't matter that the mother left the body. Surabala would go to her. She would follow that command because that was the command of the mother of the universe. Come. So she would come to her, and they would be together in spiritual communion, though they could no longer be together in physical communion. So that was the last word I heard from her, but not the last. You can believe it was not the last time she had an experience of her. Any comments or questions from anyone? Okay.
During the mother's last illness, my husband used to visit her every day. One day he said to her, "Mother, will you not give me something?" She asked him to call on Sharat Maharaj. When Sharat Maharaj arrived, she asked him to bring scissors. When he brought the scissors, the mother took them and cut a few hairs from her head. She then said to Sharat Maharaj, "There is an empty casket in that niche. Please bring it to me." When Maharaj brought the casket to her, she put those hairs in it. She handed it over to my husband and said, "This container is a Siddha Yantra, holy and auspicious. You can worship all gods and goddesses on it. There is no necessity to perform worship with pomp. The worship should be sattvic. Repeat your Ishta mantra and give a bath to the container with the Ganges water. If that's not available, then use the tap water. Perform mental worship." My husband took the container on his head and came home barefooted. According to the mother's instruction, he worshipped that holy container all through his life. The mother told me and my husband, "Those who have taken refuge in the Master will never suffer from lack of plain food and clothing."
Now notice that. Let's just take notice of that. And this, of course, follows what Sri Krishna says in the Gita. If you take refuge in me, I'll see to it that you are taken care of. And furthermore, that you will not be dispossessed. That is, you will not become homeless. You will not become indigent. Sri Krishna promises this, and here Mother repeats this. Those who take refuge in Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, remembering their one being, those who take refuge in them will never suffer from lack of plain food and clothing. Not luxury, but plain food and clothing. Any comment, concern, or question about that? Okay?
This Siddha Yantra of the mother is the refuge of our family. The mother and the Master provided not only for our food and clothing, but also took responsibility for our spiritual life.
That's exactly right. That's what they do. They come to set us free. And so they take responsibility for our entire life, not just our physical life, but our entire life. Okay, dear?
Next subheading is Mahamaya cuts her Maya. Attachment invariably brings pain. Ordinary people are attached to their family and friends, money and possessions, home and other things. So it is painful for them to leave this world when the god of death summons them. Ramakrishna explained, entangled creatures attached to worldliness talk only of worldly things at the hour of death. What will it avail such men if they outwardly repeat the name of God, take a bath in the Ganges, or visit sacred places? If they cherish attachment to the world within themselves, it must show up at the hour of death. While dying, they rave nonsense. Perhaps they cry out in a delirium. Turmeric powder, seasoning, bay leaf. While dying, they think of their wives and children and weep. Alas, what will happen to them after my death? That is why ordinary people marvel when they see the death of a deathless one, an illumined soul. Holy Mother began to make herself ready for her departure from the world stage by cutting off all ties and attachments. Swami Sharadananda once remarked about the mother's greatness and power. I have never seen such attachment, and I have never seen such detachment in my life. Brahmachari Gopesh later...
Would you repeat that with Sardananda?
Sure. Holy Mother began to make herself ready for her departure from the world stage by cutting off all ties and attachments. Swami Sharadananda once remarked about the mother's greatness and power. I have never seen such attachment. And again, I have never seen such detachment in my life. Brahmachari Gopesh later said, Saradeshananda described the mother's spirit of detachment. I was very much surprised to hear the mother's remark about her dead brother. Just a few days earlier, Uncle Bharata Prasad had died. Holy Mother was extremely grief-stricken and cried profusely. But she overcame that grief very quickly.
Do you need to stop reading, dear? Is your voice troubling you?
No, I'm okay. Shankara, just a sip of water.
Okay, dear.
When I went to see her, she said to me without any emotion, my son, did you hear that Bharata passed away? At first, I failed to understand whom she was talking about because it was beyond my imagination that she could relate the news of her dear brother's death without any grief. Noting my vacant look, she said, Foodies, Shudi's father from Jairampati. I was very sad to hear the news, but greater than my sadness was my astonishment at her lack of emotional attachment. The devotees observed that Holy Mother was becoming indifferent towards her relatives and family affairs. One day, a devotee said to her, Mother, your health has deteriorated badly. I have never seen your body so weak. She replied, Yes, my son, it has become very weak. It seems whatever work of the master that was to be done by this body is over. Now the mind longs for him only and nothing else. Just to see how much I loved Radhu and how much I have done for her happiness and comfort. But now my mood has changed. When she comes near me, I feel disgusted. I think, why is she here trying to drag my mind down? The master kept my mind down all these years with these family ties and attachments to his work. Otherwise,
If you remember, it was described earlier in the book. The master said, I'm going to give you this yoga maya, this maya that will attach you, yoga. I will give you this maya that attaches you to the world, so you won't fly away. Because the mother's tendency was to just leave the world. And that was her disposition. So the master did this. That's what she means when she says this, that the master gave her this attachment so that she would do and stay. But it's ending. It's ending. And she can see that it's her time here with us was ending physically with us, was ending because she no longer felt that yoga maya. That's what's being said here. So, okay, dear, please read on.
The master kept my mind down all these years with these family ties and attachments to his work. Otherwise, would it have been possible for me to stay in this world when he left? Holy Mother was also very fond of Gaurima, as she lived with her for some time during her stay in Dakshineshwar. The mother initiated Gaurima's adopted daughter Durga, who later became Gaurima's successor and head of Sri Saradeshwari Ashrama.
Yeah, that was Gaurima's convent. She established this convent, Sri Saradeshwari Ashrama.
Towards the end, when the mother was weak and had no inclination to talk, Gaurima and Durga visited the mother every day on their way back to their ashrama after their bath in the Ganges. Swami Ishanananda wrote, every day Gaurima would talk to the mother and fan her a little. Today, Gaurima went upstairs as usual and bowed down to the master. But when she came to bow down to the mother, she said, don't touch me. Why do you come every day to bother me? What for? What to see? At this, Gaurima was shocked, and she said in a pained voice, Mother, you are ill and bedridden. We have no peace of mind. We want to be with you all the time, but we don't always find the leisure. So we come to see you once a day. The mother replied, what do you expect from me? I can't put up with any more irritation. Then, observing Gaurima's sad face, the mother said, if you come, don't enter my room. Just look at me from outside the door. Don't make me talk. Gaurima was stunned and tears trickled from her eyes. The mother did not say anything more. Gaurima remained speechless and left that day with tearful eyes. From the next day on, Gaurima sat every morning for an hour outside the mother's room, watching the mother and weeping silently. She then left after bowing down to her. The mother noticed this but did not relent. Some days Gaurima and Durga would come to visit the mother in the afternoon and leave after inquiring about her health. Holy Mother had not been able to get good drinking water in Jairampati, so a devotee gave money to dig a well. The well was completed after Holy Mother had left for Calcutta. Swami Parameshwarananda sent the first water taken from the well in a bottle to Calcutta through Brahmachari Hari. Holy Mother joyfully drank a little water from her birthplace. Hari said, "Mother, Brother Kishori has covered the floor of your room with concrete. The next time when you come to Jairampati, you will not find any difficulty." Holy Mother replied, "Why did Kishori remove the mud from my room and pave it with cement? I love my mud floor. What was the need to do all these things? Does Kishori think I will ever go there again? I won't live there anymore." Thus, she severed her connection to her sweet home, Jairampati.
Severed, cut.
Severed. Okay. Thus, she severed her connection to her sweet home, Jairampati.
Which was, now we know that her renunciation, her detachment is complete because she loved Jairampati. She loved that. She said, your mother and your birthplace, your birth village, are more than heaven itself. This is how much she treasured and valued Jairambati. And now she's saying, there's no need to be bothered about anything there. I'll never live there again. This must have been very shocking to her loved ones, to her near and dear.
I also see her getting detached from Gauri Ma too, Brother Shankara. The way she was talking, she was trying to completely detach herself from her.
Well, she knew that Gauri was subtly trying to hold her there. I mean, it wasn't that Gauri Ma wanted anything inauspicious, but she was being just that little bit selfish. She didn't want to lose the physical presence of Mother. She and her daughter Durga did not want to lose the physical presence of Mother. So there was just that little shade of selfishness. And so the mother was saying, I find this irritating. I can't take any more irritation. This irritation of being yearned after. Yearned after in my physical form. And of course it was difficult for Gaurima, and this is why she came and wept every morning. She knew she was going to lose the mother's physical form soon. Otherwise, Mother would not have done this or said this. So that's why Gaurima was so upset. Any comments or questions from anyone else? All right, dear, please go ahead.
Now came Radha's turn. Holy Mother decided to tear the last bond of Maya. Some days before her passing away, she said to Radhu, "Look here, Radhu, I want you to return to Jairampati. Don't stay here any longer." Then she told her attendant Sarada, "Tell Sharath to send her to Jairampati." Sarada asked, "Mother, why are you sending them to Jairampati? Will you be able to live without Radhu?" Holy Mother said firmly, "Certainly, I have withdrawn my mind." Sarada reported this.
Certainly, I have withdrawn my mind. She was asked the question, will you be able to live without her? And the mother said firmly, and you can bet that if she said that firmly, it was indeed firmly. Not sharply, but firmly. Certainly, I have withdrawn my mind. And this is this to anyone who knew what was what, that would have indicated, oh, it's not long now. Okay, please do read on.
Sarala reported this to Yoginma and Swami Sharadananda. Yoginma went to the mother and said, "Mother, why are you asking Radu and others to leave?" Holy Mother replied, "Yogin, she shall have to live at Jairambati hereafter. Hari is returning there. Send her and others with him. I have withdrawn my mind. I don't want her here anymore." Yoginma objected. "Mother, don't say that. If you detach your mind, how shall we live?" "Yogin, I have cut the chain of Maya." Holy Mother responded, "No more of this." Yoginma could not reply. She reported the whole thing to Swami Sharadananda. He said with a deep sigh, "Now it will be impossible to keep the mother on earth any longer. As she has detached herself from Radhu, there is no hope whatsoever." Sarala was there, he said to her. "See if you can direct her mind again to Radhu." But the effort was futile. Understanding their intention, the mother clearly said, "Know once and for all that the mind which has been withdrawn will not come down again." Holy Mother's mind was soaring high to the infinite. So the world of Maya became distasteful to her. Swami Ishanananda recorded the mother's mental state at that time. The mother said to me, "Why did Radhu, Nalini, and others not go to Jairambati with Hari? You take them back to Jairambati. None of them needs to stay here." When I informed Sharat Maharaj of this, he could not decide what to do. We could not figure out why the mother was asking Radhu and others to be sent to Jairambati, especially Radhu, whom she loved so much and could not bear separation from. Even while she was ill, she looked after Radhu and her son. The mother was now so irritated with her nieces that Nalini and others were frightened to go near her. Helpless, Maku wept in a quiet corner. Nalini said, "If our presence hurts our aunt, we had better go away to our village. But I don't know what our village people will say. They will criticize us for leaving her at this time." Sharat Maharaj tried again to persuade the mother and said, "Mother, these girls feel bad at the thought of going away when you're so ill. Let them stay a while. They will go to Jairambati when you recover a little." The mother persisted. "It would have been better if you had sent them away." "All right, but let them not come near me. I do not want to see even their shadow. I have cut off all attachments."
Now imagine this. The mother saying, "I have cut off all attachments." It was just a matter of just without those attachments. Her mind was already, as it was said, soaring to the infinite. The body would not persist much longer. So, but she relented and didn't send them away. But she said, I do not even want to see their shadow, let alone their presence."
Brother
Very,
Shankara,
very profound.
Brother Shankara, I have a question.
Yes, dear.
We can be detached even if the person is right in front of us. We can be detached from that person, can't we?
Oh, yes.
It's very easy to be doing that. To why his mother completely tell them to go away? I don't want to see you guys. What would be her reason to do that? She is the mother.
Because she didn't want them to come and try to bring her mind down. She said it. Don't try to bring my mind down. She didn't want anyone to come and try to bring her mind down. Of course, it was painful for her. She was a human being as well as this divine goddess. So it was painful for her to do these things. But the power in her of detachment at this point was far greater than the power of attachment.
Brother Shankara?
Yes,
Brother
yeah. First Jeff, then Swaya.
I'm wondering if Holy Mother wasn't trying to teach some lessons to say, this is how you detach, this is how you do it. Because, like in the preceding section where she told Gauri Ma to visit her from the other side of the door, from outside the door, surely Holy Mother knew that she was there weeping, and it wouldn't make any difference if she was inside the door or outside the door. But I think she was sending a message to the people that she loved, that I am detaching from you now, and this is how you do it.
Well, we can see it that way, Jeff. Everything that the mother ever did, every little gesture, can be seen as a lesson for us. But I really believe, and this I have heard expressed in this way from the Swamis, that the mother really was ready to go. And she wasn't busy giving lessons deliberately anymore. She just wanted to be left alone. She just did not want people to come and try to hold her there, which was, of course, all of her loved ones. That's what they wanted to do. They didn't want to lose her. We just heard that all of these stories of the mother's own grief when loved ones left. Well, her bereavements, as they were called. These people know they are about to be bereaved of the mother's presence, and they're reluctant to let her do that. And she's saying, "Let me go. Don't try to hold me." And she found it irritating that and she said it to more than one of them. I find it irritating, annoying that you're trying to do this. It isn't that she didn't understand. She just didn't want it anymore. So I don't think she was deliberately and consciously giving lessons at this point. Though, as it was said earlier, everything the mother did can be seen as a lesson. We can see if this is the way it's done by the holy ones, we can emulate that to the best of our ability. But on the other hand, we should never think of ourselves as like them at all. We're not like them. We're human beings, yes, but the mother's power of detachment was so far greater than any power of detachment we could have. So the answer must be, as far as I can see from here, Jeff, it must be yes and no to your question.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Swayamji.
Yes, Brother Shankara, I think my question was the same as Jeff's. So you already clarified that, but my, I guess, follow-up would be that, is it even possible for us to develop that kind of a detachment? And Sri Ramakrishna had, I think, said that we should attempt to at least spend, 3 days every so often in aloneness, not loneliness, as
Solitude.
solitude. Maybe, if we did that, that might help. If our end comes when we are aware that the end is near.
Well,
now with medications and stuff, I mean, at least the ones, my close ones that passed away recently, my mother-in-law was pretty much not aware. One sister just just passed away. We didn't. She just, like, woke up in the morning and was gone in a few minutes. So I don't know if we know the end is coming. Is that the time to detach? It's too complicated. I don't know. So
Well, what you said about going into solitude, dear, that is auspicious in every spiritual life respect. It's even auspicious in your everyday affairs life respect, because as you do this in solitude, you begin to understand more profoundly what is meant by doing everything as worship, by living your whole life sacramentally, as Sri Krishna puts it. So yes, it's very auspicious. And the more time we spend in solitude, the more time we can recollect and focus the mind on the truth of our being and the truth of being, period, what it is to be alive as a human being, the more likely we are to have this auspicious frame of mind at death. But those who become Sri Ramakrishna's own and Mother's own, they don't have to worry about that in the least. If you have become their own and been faithful, uh, however we may fall and rise again, however ineptly we may have tried to follow the instructions of our teachers, if we have faithfully made that attempt and have not turned cheat, as Swami Vivekananda said, if we haven't just begun to do things as a pretense where our mind is resting elsewhere, then we have nothing to fear whatsoever. The Mother says this over and over. So at the time of death, one of them or all of them will come and get you and remind you of what it is that you are to, what frame of mind you are to be in.
thank you.
Anything else from anyone? All right, we're going to leave it there for this week. Again, Haima, thank you for your austerity of asking Mother for the ability to speak, even though yesterday you were without a voice. Today you recovered your voice in order to read. Thank you for this austerity and for your reading. You're always such a very good reader. So,
Thank you, Brother Shri.
Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Asato Ma Satkamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, Abir Moiti. O dearly beloved Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from this realm of endless noise and relentless confusion to thine abode of silence, serenity, clarity, and peace. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from darkness and ignorance to the brilliance of thy wisdom and love. Lead us from darkness and ignorance to the brilliance of thy wisdom and love. Lead us from death to immortality. Light us through and through. Light us through and through with thy everlasting, shining presence. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Durga, Durga, Durga. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be cheerful. May we have peace of mind. May we be always in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our mother and father. Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Tat Sat. Oh, dearly beloved, make it so. Any final thought or question from anyone? All right, dears. Until tomorrow evening, when we have the class on Swami Ranganathananda's Divine Grace, for those of you who decide to join us. And then on Saturday, of course, How to Know God, Swami Prabhupananda's rendering of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And then on Sunday, we'll have an open forum that will, it's on Bhakti Yoga. It's the end of the month. We're studying Bhakti Yoga. So we will have that. And it'll start with a definition given by Sri Ramakrishna himself of his own understanding and vision of bhakti. And very high indeed. So that'll just be a review of that. And then we'll have an open forum on bhakti for this coming Sunday. And in the meantime, of course, there is Thanksgiving. So may you all have a joyous and fulfilling Thanksgiving. May it be just exactly what the word says. May it be a day filled with thanks and giving. Any final thought from anyone else? All right, dears. A sweet good night to you. And until the next time, Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma.